3, 2, 1. Welcome to the dance, y'all. This is a podcast centered around the world of tree climbing competition and those that devote their lives to its pursuit. We're proud to share some stories of bells rung, swings had, ascenders that clanked, and the future of our craft. Harness up and get ready to sound the horn. This is the Smooth Saw. Welcome to the latest episode of the Smooth Saw podcast. Tonight is going to be a really fun conversation that we're going to have with one of my original, what I have historically always referred to as one of my big mentors in this industry. So I'm super pumped to be having a conversation with Rich Hattier. Those of you that don't know who Rich is, you are about to find out. So that's pretty. I'm very excited about it. It was great to run into him last at the Seed Campus during the North American Tree Climbing Championship. So buckle in and hang on tight because I'm sure this is going to be an amazing conversation between the three of us. So I'm sure it'll come up in the podcast of some of the different stuff that we've gotten into over the years. But so I'm super pumped to have this conversation with Rich this evening. Yeah. Quick shout out to the brands, our obsession right here. Funny enough, I am wearing my SIP shirt. Got a new pair of the SIP chainsaw pants, the Canopy Ergos. If you're not familiar with them and you're built anything like me, they fit pretty great. No free ads, SIP, but given a free ad. Anyway, our obsession hooked it up, ordered it because I needed another pair of chainsaw pants with the hotter weather coming in, and I really dug the other pair that I had. So thank you, Obsession, for hooking that up and sending it over. Always, every day, one of the cool things that I also tap into is just see what is available and new, because it seems like Casey and team are throwing new stuff on the website every single day. So it's kind of like, I don't know, as a gear nerd, it's a fun way to just kind of stay relevant and see what ways trying to lose money. But thanks, our obsession. You can use hashtag SmoothSaw to get yourself a little bit of a discount on your next order there, but cruise on over to arbsession.com and spend your heart's desire on whatever new kit that you want. So thank you, our obsession. Also, thank you to Atmos Tree for planting 2 trees for us talking tonight, us tree people talking about tree things, and 2 trees get put into the ground. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, so big thank you to Atmos Tree. They're a regenerative, tree organization that plants trees for trees being removed. So if you are a tree care company, reach out to them and partner with them, become part of the alliance there. If for every tree that you remove, they plant 2 trees into the ground, and it's a great system to be a part of. So big shout out to Atmos Tree. You can find them on Instagram. Cruise on over to their webpage as well to sign up for stuff, and much appreciated. Final shout out, Current Vertical Living. You got the Spaceman here in the screen. That was from the collab that Current did with updating a cosmic koala harness. So it was really fun to wear. I have a sweatshirt and some shirts that have that decal on it. Anyway, big shout out to Current Vertical Living for sponsoring the podcast and giving us pretty sick ropes and bags and the like. And we just, if you're in the market for a new rope or a new bag or a new harness, definitely check out Current Vertical Living. You can find it at our obsession anywhere that you purchase your gear. But you can't go wrong with that stuff. Current's been around for 200 years. Most things that have been around that long seem to be pretty good at what they do. And we think about it in the context of climbing trees and tree climbing competitions. Climbing around in 200-year-old trees, those are some fun things to climb around in. So climbing around in 200-year-old trees with ropes made from a 200-year-old company seems to go pretty well hand in hand. So if you're unfamiliar with them, go check them out. It's a little bit on the pricier end in terms of cordage, but I argue you get what you pay for. And at this point, I can't really imagine climbing on really any other ropes other than grunt ropes. So with that, cruise on over to our obsession, pick yourself up some grunt supplies, reach out to Atmos Tree, get some trees planted for trees that are get cut down, and thank you all for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, leave reviews. That all that stuff helps us build this brand, build this podcast, get it spread to more people. So if you're into what we're doing, you like the conversations we're having, again, we're trying to pump this stuff out and have conversations with people and talk about trees and tree climbing competitions. And thanks to everyone that has reached out here lately with we've had lots of awesome conversations with lots of awesome folks, and it's been really cool. So the mission, the goal, the why of this podcast seems to be chugging along and stronger than ever. So help us help you get this content out to more people. Like, share, subscribe, and please leave a review. All right. With that, let's hop into the episode. Hey! Yes! Welcome to the podcast, Rich. It's good to see you.
Cheers, brother. Always good to see you.
Yeah. So it looks like you're at your house. This is true.
It is a really interesting week that I'm actually home. Although I'm heading out on Friday and I'll be back in 3 weeks. So yeah,
Gotcha.
you caught me at home on a rare day.
I know. That's what it always seems like. It's like instead of where's Waldo, it's where's Rich. Like where's Rich in the world today. So
But I'm 3 times as goofy looking as Waldo. So
yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're normally wearing black. So he's all candy striped up. But I have a difficult time finding Waldo. Like our kids have now, like when we travel, because we try so hard to keep the screens away from them. So these where's
yeah,
Waldo books are back in my life now. And
love it.
they're like, Cedar's like, I found him. And then he's like, Dad, you find him. And I spend a crazy amount of time trying to find that guy. So
Yeah, man.
yeah. Dang. We got you in, and now we just lost Evan. Nope.
I think I'm back.
He's back.
Yeah. Over here bragging about using your phone's Wi-Fi, and then no sooner did you say that, you dropped out.
That definitely did not work.
Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess let's get going before we start dropping like flies again.
Yep.
Yeah. So, Rich, welcome again to the podcast. Tell the people who you are.
Who I am. Oh boy. My name is Rich Hattier. I'm coming to you from Louisville, Kentucky today, which allegedly is where I live. Yeah. Known Jeff for quite some time, known Evan for quite some time, and thrilled to be here with you all.
Yeah.
Well, that was about the most humble way you could have done that. So Evan, how do you know Rich?
Oh, all right. Nice. All right. So I believe I first met Rich at the Kentucky chapter tree climbing championships. Jeff and I were talking about this before. Pretty sure it was 2016, and I think it was you, Corey, and and now he's going to kill me if he ever listens to this podcast, but I can't remember his name, but somebody else were in Masters. That was when I initially met you. And then we have crossed paths multiple times. Certainly the most recent being last week. I was one of Rich's students because we have a partnership between Davey and Ensa, and he came in to deliver like more of a train the trainer type program, and just working on building training curriculum and learning objectives and didactical approaches and all sorts of amazing things that I had no idea what it was.
And you
but yeah,
retained it all. Sweet.
retained some, right? Yeah. But yeah, that's my relationship with Rich. Every time is no pun intended, but it's a rich interaction. I really enjoy hanging out with Hattier.
Nice. Was that Richard Potts that was the third in that master? The legendary Richard Potts of Kentucky?
I don't remember. I do remember, like, I think you were one of the first persons that I ever saw on two wrench systems. And also through my affiliation with the rope rescue world, we were going through a lot of the Rope Lab Academy videos from back in the day. And you were one of the instructors that was on the tree side of things from that spot. It was really cool seeing that, because that was really when I kind of first started getting into arboriculture. Was back in 2000, I think 10 or maybe 12. At that time, I was still involved with rope rescue and rope access stuff, and seeing the dual wrench setup, I was like, "What is this craziness?" Well, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not the first to have that exact reaction.
Right? Yeah.
Hold on. All right. I'll be right back. Cedar just got up.
Perfect.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. What? So, how did that all? I don't know. We'll just roll while Jeff is out. He probably won't be gone long. But what was that? What was that like? What was that role at Rope Lab?
I think it was Rigging Lab.
Rigging Lab. Thank you. Sorry.
Yep. And I'm trying to remember the gentleman's name. I love the guy. It's to come to me. I know his son really well. Also, hold on.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I'll look it up.
Anyway, I had met him at either at Iris or one of the Sprat conferences. I've seen him at 1,000,010 different conferences.
Mm-hmm.
And we got chat. He knew about my involvement in ARB as well as rope access and technical rescue. And he didn't have a whole lot of background in ARB. And I'd actually done a presentation at the Sprat conference discussing arbor style rescue. So he approached Lance, I think his name is. He approached me to see if I'd be interested in doing on any videos with them.
Okay.
And I was hooked about it. The sheer amount of reference material he has available is amazing. He's put a lot into that library, and the access that he gets for everybody to get all sorts of different information from optionals to, good Lord, you name it, everything in rescue.
Right. Yeah.
So pretty stoked to do it. We got really lucky with those videos. Believe we were at Cave Hill Cemetery, and we got access to Roger Martin to do some filming there. And we had a hell of a good time. I think that was a Katsura tree I was in. It's one of my favorite trees in that whole Cave Hill Cemetery. So I was pretty stoked about all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Not very often you get into a Katsura.
A big one like that, yeah.
Crazy. So when do you remember what year that was? Ish.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Could have been 2015, 15 or 16, somewhere around there,
Okay.
possibly.
Yeah. Possibly.
Maybe a little bit later. It was it was when I was with ISC, so it was definitely between 2014 and 2020.
Okay. Right on. All right. Cedar's good. Cedar's not so good.
He's fine. He's
Yeah.
toast.
Nice.
It's school's out,
Yep.
and
Oh yeah.
Oh
we
boy.
had a golf practice. We had a tough time at golf practice tonight.
Okay. All right.
Um, yeah. So still working through it.
Indeed.
Got him throwing
Now,
discs already? Right on.
No, like real golf, like actual like
What do
swinging
you
golf
mean real
clubs.
golf? Hold on a second,
yeah.
sir.
Traditional real, like the golf that the majority of
Real.
the world
Real.
when you hear golf. Yeah. Sorry. I don't
I
hook the disc the
And
same
if
way
you
that
like
you do.
if you like trees, disc golf is where it's at.
Well, other than the
Well,
fact
unless you're
that
hitting
like you
trees with
just
discs.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Every time I play disc golf, I just annihilate the bark and cambium layer of trees because I'm not as good at it. So
That's odd because every time I play golf, like Robin Williams talks about with golfers, I also
yeah,
annihilate bark, but with a
yeah,
different object. It's with a white
yeah,
little ball.
yeah. No, I don't tend to hit this. Yeah, yeah,
I love that chat. Golfers.
yeah. Golfers. Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
are we gonna make these balls or these holes really close? No, we're gonna put it way far out in the distance, and we're
yeah,
gonna give them hope. We're gonna put a flag out.
yeah. To give them hope. Yeah.
You do it one time? No, 18 times. Sorry. All right. So we were
yeah,
talking about so we were talking about my relationship with Rich and talking about the rigging lab and the just the incredible library of videos and instructional uh, booklets and information, like just an amazing library of information when it comes to technical rigging or rescue or rope access and also some arb elements in there. It was pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me,
Yeah.
I had heard about Rich Hattier for a very long time, and kind of like the lore of tree climbing, like in the history of competitions and innovation, and I'm sure we'll talk about the Anchor Bridge and stuff like that. So, like from a historical perspective, I like knew of you, Rich, and then when we moved to Louisville and I started working for Limwalker, and at Height being in Louisville was the first time we met at the shop. And then you proceeded to open my brain and eyes to this whole other realm of how you work with rope. Like my whole perspective came from rock climbing and then what I knew as a tree climber. And then yeah, Rich, you opened up the whole, you know. Now I didn't go chase rope access stuff, but the whole concept of around thinking about rescues differently, using like doing rigging differently, just nerding out, learning how much you love bourbon, learning how much you love basset hounds, uh, hanging out with you and Tony. Uh, then you helped me prep for my first internationals, and yeah, I've learned an incredible amount from you, Rich, over the years, and it is a true blessing I consider in my life. Uh, to not only have met you, but to have got to hang out with you as much as we have, and to call you friend. So thank you for just filling my head with all sorts of crazy stuff that would not have been filled with likely otherwise. So Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
The feeling there is it's definitely mutual, my friend. Having you in Louisville was terrific. We definitely weren't looking weren't too happy about the fact when you left, but we still get to
Yeah.
see you all the time. And our
Yeah.
story's not done yet. We got a long way to go. Quite a
Oh
few
yeah.
countries we haven't eaten sushi in yet, but we're
Oh yeah.
whittling them down.
Yeah. 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 Super cool. Yeah. So that's one of the things like I'm sure we'll talk about at some point, but like you used to work with ISC, you brought me on to help, you know, in an ambassador way at ISC when you were at ISC. So through that is how we got to go climb giant sequoias and help with research and got to go do training in Japan. And that's the other piece of what I attribute so much of like when I call you a big mentor for me in this industry is not only all the technical stuff that you taught me, but also how you go about talking about this stuff, how you go about
Mhm.
training, how you go about teaching, how you go about having hard conversations, different, like being blunt but still caring in a way that still breaks my brain. How like you're able to like be so like matter of fact and still come out the other side of like still very kind and compassionate. Like I told this story not that long ago of like we were like had a hellacious layover in Chicago in O'Hare, and this guy was like losing his mind at the at the flight attendant. And the way that you like handled that situation and then spoke to that flight attendant not only was like cool to see how caring you were to her, but then it was also cool to see how kindness actually like pays better than being mean because she hooked us up, uh, which
Yeah, man.
is awesome. But even just like doing, like the whole being in the trade, on the trade show floor, in the booth, talking with, random people. My whole life I've been relatively I'm kind of introverted, and that yeah, he taught me how to like kind of break out of that to then turn really anything we did kind of into a game in a way of like that, when people come into the booth, it's like you got, it's like micro trainings. You got 30 seconds to try to keep them there for 30 more seconds. And that whole just yeah, I also am blessed to have been taught that by you. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Cheers, man. So if you want to know the full backstory,
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
Yeah,
brought
let's
me,
get into it.
that's an
yeah,
introduction, right?
Yeah.
That's an
yeah.
introduction. Now let's talk about
Uh,
how you got into this and how all of that stuff filled some gaps, Rich.
so I got into ARB. Most people get into ARB. When I graduated from the military college as a second lieutenant, before I could serve active duty infantry, I had to get my 4-year degree.
Hmm.
So I went from the military college in Pennsylvania, uh, and I signed on at UMass Amherst because at the time, if you were a member of the National Guard in Massachusetts, they'd pay your tuition. So it was a win-win. When I got there, I'd been to civilian college previously and just wasn't very successful at it. Uh, so I signed on for this what I thought the studious dorm. Come to find out, all of my roommates were there for arboriculture because the Stockford School is based in UMass Amherst. So I was studying French and Russian. They were climbing trees, and being a long big wall rock climber prior to going to the army, I'm looking at them having way the hell more fun than I'm having. Uh, so I started just climbing with those guys in the afternoons, picking their brains, learning the ropes. Was having an absolute blast, just hip thrusting up trees. This is back in '91. This is top line hitch days. Um, Long story short, at the end of that year, they disbanded my unit. So they then stuck me with a large tuition bill that was supposed to be paid by the army and wasn't. blah, blah, blah. We'll gloss over a bunch of crazy stuff. I went home that summer and I signed on with the tree service and never looked back.
Huh.
So pretty much a standard tale.
Yeah.
So that was in Cleveland, Ohio, my first tree job. Evan, I brought this up the other day. Uh, I was extremely lucky with my first tree job that my initial foreman was very safety conscious, ex-Marine, really intelligent, really dedicated, really passionate guy. And I was an absolute disaster. I literally didn't know how to identify an oak from a maple. I was a city boy. And he took me under his wing, taught me as much as he could, and built a passion in me to learn more. So, spent 3 years with that company, and then moved on to Utah for reason most people go to Utah: rock climbing, ice climbing, big wall climbing, snowboarding. But also
Yeah.
worked for a company out there, tree service out there. I worked with Brian Getzelman, who was a huge influence in the Utah Forestry Council and in the arboricultural scene. He got me into competitions. My first competition was 93. This was, or 94. This is back when we didn't have a master climb. The preliminary events were basically all you had. This is back when you had a choice of a backup. You could have a belay on a delayed speed climb or not. You could just pull
Yes.
yourself up the rope, hold on with one hand, and tie your taut line to come down. It
Yeah.
was, yeah, the Wild West, literally.
Yeah.
Uh, so it was in Utah that I started my long streak of not petitions, coming just short for usually for doing stupid stuff.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, again, I had a really good mentor there. I learned an awful lot from Brian Getzelman. Loved living out west. Eventually moved to Cleveland with my wife. Another crazy story there that we don't need to get into. And signed on with yet another tree service. But eventually, Tony and I decided to open our own tree service. So we did that in, I believe that was 2000. Ran our own service for a while. And this is now moving rope systems. This is the open-ended hitches have come in. So we're now all climbing on modified hitches. Could be a Swabish, maybe, but you have to modify it, otherwise you can't use it.
Too damn
The way
tight.
it's always been, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Continued competing. So at that point, I was coming up against guys like Jay Butcher and Josh Jump. So I was continuing my long track of not competitions, but getting very close. But eventually won one in 2004. So I competed at my first international in 2004. Ironically, that's where I met Chris O'Brien, who eventually I beat down here in Kentucky. And I could have met one Jason Deal, who was also competing that year for his first time after having won the Illinois competition.
Yeah.
So it's interesting looking back on that all those years ago. So many of those people are still in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, damn near all of them are still in my life. Um, oh, too many. Noel the Destroyer Boyer. He was in the group that I was in, and that's a man whom I love dearly. His whole family and what he achieved in this history is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, dedicated to uh, innovation, safety. At this point, I was still doing commercial arboriculture, so primarily climbing every day. And then on the way back, it was the ITCC in Nashville, where we watched Jared Abergina absolutely slay one of the biggest tulip poplars I've ever seen in my life. I was driving back home from there. That had to be 2006, maybe. And the idea for the anchor bridge popped in my head because it was a long-standing issue of these um, with the open hitches. They were they were terrific because they were short, so they advanced very easy. So there, the problem is if you needed to go a long distance, the hitch was so it was a pain in the ass. We've all lived all that. So the idea of having all the slack in your system was really problematic, and wanted to find a way to fix that. On the drive home from Nashville, I had an idea, and then the very next day, I rigged the initial anchor bridge with some slings and throwing stuff together, almost going full Bingham on it. I got to say, uh, to the idea work, and it did work. So after that, I further refined it. I got a hold of a gentleman named Max Underwood, who's on my splicing for my company. He was based out of Columbus, Ohio. So as part of that process, I learned how to splice through Max. I would drive down to Columbus every day, about a 2-hour drive from Cleveland, splice, drive home. There were further refinements on the anchor bridge. Chuck was involved with that, another legendary Ohio climber. And eventually we got it dialed in where it works. It's actually something pretty useful. Uh, I don't need to explain the device. You guys have, well, Evan, you probably haven't seen it. It's
Yeah,
that
I'm
old.
certainly not as familiar as Jeff, but I am familiar with it.
Yeah. Uh, so it was all really good. At that time, I was sort of winding down the tree service. We were able to sell the tree service, and that was the happiest day for my wife ever. She was really happy that I was no longer on the sharp end of the rope every day, and we were moving into more of a supply. Initially, I was working with Landfear Supply, doing their splicing, and also doing workshops. We pretty quickly realized that a lot of the people selling the equipment didn't know anything about how to use it. So it became pretty apparent that we needed to focus more on the training aspect of it. And Jeff, you've seen me do that presentation about
Oh, yeah.
790,000
Yeah.
times. Eventually, I was recruited away from Lanphier by Fresco Arbor Supply. Wow, there's a name blast from the past. Based out of Minneapolis. Uh, so did that for a couple of years. That company sold. At that time, we decided to move down to Kentucky. So we did that, and we started our own splicing company. Was the genesis of Anchor Bridge Rope Works that eventually turned into ABR, and eventually turned into At Height. All in a nutshell. Nice and easy.
Yeah, there you go. Paying homage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean like it's funny like it's the very first sticker that goes on anything I have is an at height sticker. Like
Oh,
like I have like stacks. Like Jason has given me so many stickers.
Yeah.
Uh yeah.
actually, that's an interesting part of the story as well. I just threw some
Mm.
disc golf with Jason this evening, and he and I go back an awful long way. When we convinced him to move to Kentucky to work with us, with it was ABR at the time. That was a big move. Jason had been in Illinois his entire life, had a really good career there. Learned it from Kramer when he was working there. Um, and it was a big move for Jason to do it, and see him thriving now, owning at height and what he does for the competitions and for everybody.
Yeah.
It's so good to see, and I'm so thrilled to get to spend time with him. And anytime I'm home, we'll go out and throw, uh, catch up. So it's really great to see so many people that I've met or have known in the industry, just all take it right to the top. I mean, I look at Jeff over there with what he's doing. Good God. And Ed, having worked with your team this past week, that team you guys have at Davy is absolutely amazing. So I know more amazing things will be coming from there.
Yeah. It's funny like before moving to Louisville, before like meeting you, get to know you. It was the same thing with Jason. Like my experience with Jason was always at comp and
Mm-hmm.
competition Jason is cask helmet, chrome visor down,
Visor.
deadpan, super serious, like very cut and dry, very blunt, pretty
Yeah.
intimidating. Like, it was I think the first out of chapter competition I ever did, he inspected my gear where I then learned that, you can't just throw any rope like you have to have the rope bridge that's supposed to be on the harness, like, which it makes me chuckle now because how often, like, I've said this very same thing that Jason said to me then. So when we moved to Louisville and we went to At Height for the first time, and I see Jason, and then discover the, like, heart that
Yeah.
Jason Deal has, like, how, like, awesome that
Unbelievable.
guy is, like, give you
Yeah.
the shirt off,
Yeah.
his back to help you, like, the amount of times he just bent over backwards to help Kelsey and I, and, just it's anyone that, like, is listening to this that only knows competition Jason, like,
That is not the
uh,
full Jason.
that is nowhere
That is
close
definitely
to the
not the
full
full Jason.
Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
I got
nowhere
stories
close.
for years on there.
Oh, yeah.
Two other
Yeah.
things we got to add to this mix that
Excellent.
actually are related. Uh, being such a long time competitive climber, we got into this was way well, I don't even know where we started, but we also recognized that a lot of the competitions didn't have super quality help and judges and setup and all that. So we formed in Ohio and lured in the likes of Jason Deal, lured from all over the place, and we would go help set up comps, and we would be the experienced judging team and run the comps. And that was my first interaction with Kentucky. Actually, and we came down to Lexington to work with Roger Martin and those guys on set. God, I think that might have been 2008 or even earlier. Might have been six. But through that group, it was awesome. We would set up comps all day, then we'd go splice rope all night, and we'd mess about the equipment all evening, drink a bunch of great bourbon, and then go do it again the next day. And we learned so much and formed such a huge tight bond. When I actually ran the Ohio comp up in Cleveland, we had, I think, 50 volunteers, most of which stayed at my house. And it was absolute freaking, it was awesome. It was bedlam, but awesome. So
Yeah.
that relationship there, we started the splicing circles, called them. Uh, yeah, it was just such a great group of people, all focused on the same thing, doing some really fun and innovative stuff. And as part of all that, I went up to Detroit to hang out with Mr. Kevin Bingham. And one day, just I was I was some splicing at his house. And this is back in the old days, Mr. Bingham, where his house was a pretty uh, not so great part of Detroit,
Yeah.
but I needed something to anchor on. So I found a roof joist basically that I could hook the rope to. And I nearly pulled his house over trying to set this freaking splice. And to see where he's come. Oh man, that day, another comp. We had our splicing symposium in Kentucky, and directly after that, we all took off to Charlotte comp. Uh, God, this must have been 2000. It was 2010.
Mm.
So we go to the Charlotte comp. We've got Scott Forrest and James Kilpatrick. So this group of crazy, like-minded arborists is just getting bigger and bigger and worldwide now. And meet Josephine Heather there. And ironically, I had done a class about a previous up in Indiana, and it was my typical moving rope class, rescue, all of that. And one of the students asked me, he's like, "Hey, do you think we'll ever be able to climb a rope on just one rope, on the stationary rope?" I'm like, "Man, I know some really talented, amazing arborists in this industry. If it if it could be done, it would have happened." Literally said this to the guy. That weekend, Kevin Bingham pulls out the Fate revolver and changes the world. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So as part of that, being introduced to that, Josephine was about to head home back to the UK, but there was a volcano erupting in Iceland, so her flights got canceled. And I said, "Hey, why don't you just come back to Kentucky with me?" So she did, and Josephine and I spent the next 4 days nonstop, all day, every day, trying to figure out how to get that Fate revolver to advance.
Dang.
So, ah, man, there's so many great fun stories with all that. And then to see Kevin, the guy who came up with the initial concept, to see him take it to the rope wrench, and then to have a small little hand and spread it around the world.
Mm.
It's been an immense joy to work with Kevin and all of that.
Yeah.
Good Lord, got some stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couple.
Which also, yeah, shout out Kevin. Happy birthday, buddy. His birthday was yesterday.
Yeah,
So
right on.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Um,
That's
yeah. No,
It
thank
would
you
have been pretty
for
embarrassing if I pulled his house over setting a splice.
it would have been. It would have, but also classic Kevin.
Oh
Like
yeah, for
that's
sure.
absolutely how that would go. This is what I mean. Like this is all the lore of Rich Hattier, that
yeah.
all these stories that I'd heard for a long time before meeting you. Because it's so rad. Like I mean, that just sounds like uh like a climber's dream to just sun up to sundown, just be completely obsessed with, setting up
Immersed.
comps, learning how to splice, inventing splices, coming up with your own stuff, hanging out with some of the, like, it's that's what's I think important to kind of highlight now in the age of social media, because like then social media wasn't a thing, right? Like Tree Buzz was what, mid 2000s, early 2000s, maybe, when that first started to pop
Yeah, I
off.
think they just went
Uh,
25 years. Yeah.
yeah. So, uh, so then, I mean, like the whole interconnected nature of tree climbers was not what it was, or not what it is now back then. So the idea of like that's just so hilarious. Of like, oh yeah, they would have come up with stationary rope climbing, and then that next weekend, like, like Kevin's like, hey, look at this, like, uh,
Oh man.
yeah. It's just that's so cool. That's so cool. Um, so how did the hater come about? How did that nickname get brought?
I imagine it was all ironic at the time. Uh,
Yeah.
the nickname prior to Hater, actually, if you've ever seen my fall timer cubes, you'll see an OMH on them because I've been known as
Mm,
Old Man Hattier for a long time because I was always, I think, just a few years older than everybody else I was hanging around with. So they
yeah.
started referring to us as Old Man Hattier, and then the Hater definitely came from the man I love probably more than anybody on this planet, and that would be Jay Butcher. Uh, that
My
guy.
man. Yeah. God.
Oh, without a doubt.
Shout out, Jay.
Uh,
One of the best humans I've ever known.
one of
without
one,
a doubt.
Mr. Butcher.
Oh, well, he and Josh Jump together are almost too much to handle. So much fun, it's ridiculous. But neither of them have a serious bone in their body, and so I think they started referring to me as the hater, especially because I was leading more of the competitions, so I was the guy that had to be the bad guy and
Mhm.
deny equipment and look at some of the climbers and wonder what the fuck they're doing climbing on some of that equipment that needed to be
Yeah.
retired about years ago.
Yeah.
So I think because of that, they referred to me as a hater. I always did it in a loving way, as you suggested, Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try to.
Uh, but I think where it really set in, and probably where most people know it from, was when the rope wrench came out, the finalized rope wrench version. By this time, I was with ISC. We'd gotten Kevin hooked up with ISC to build the rope wrench, and when it was ready, uh, all of a sudden they were going to allow competition, which is understandable in a sense, but the reasons that were being given just made no sense to me whatsoever.
Mm.
If you both remember back at the time, the thought was that the rope systems were dangerous, and I mean, just logically, it, you can't make that argument to me. There's it just doesn't fly. And when I see the slack that moving rope systems, people are climbing on such slack and they're exposing themselves to such hazards on big swings, and the fact that the rope wrench eliminated all of that, and I now had once I tied my hitch, it was regulated. It wasn't going to change. where I'm sure we've all been in a situation climbing moving rope where you would adjust your hitch, you tie it really loose because you knew you were going to have a lot of friction. Not you, Evan,
Mhm.
of course. Sure.
Yeah. Never.
Yeah.
So the arguments that were being made to me just made no sense. I couldn't understand why they were saying it was more dangerous. Uh, so being a guy who's not known for holding his thoughts to himself, and being a person who has never been afraid to stand up and say what needs to be said, I basically took one for the team and said what had to be said in front of everybody in a super public forum, and didn't do it with very much tact. I look back on it now, I regret that. It that whole thing, while I'm still happy I did, I should have done it differently. Uh,
Mm.
it it heavily damaged some relationships that I hold very, very dear. Over time, I to mend those fences with several key people, but certainly not everybody. So I do regret how it happened. I was just popping off. I was a hothead. Someone to say something, and then it just happened to be me. So I think the
Mm.
hater mainly came from that. That's probably where it
Gotcha.
stuck.
Gotcha. Yeah.
For what it's worth, Rich, it's now in my phone. It's just OMH. That's it.
Thanks.
Yeah. 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 No, that's yeah. That but I mean that yeah, it's I think that's well, especially on the heels of what we just recorded not that long ago. It is one of those things that it's like you feel so compelled to speak up. And it's one of the I mean, it's one of the things that I have learned from you, you know, and is that like, you know, if something needs to be said, if something needs to be talked about, then don't wait to talk about it. I mean, like, and you can boil that down. I mean, you could talk about it in like a large forum about like people not agreeing about whether or not something is, you know, okay, you know, between stationary and moving rope systems. But I mean, the same concept applies like at work of like you see somebody doing something. It's, I mean, like I just onboarded a new employee last week, and that's one of my things with a brand new person is like, I don't I've got pretty thick skin. I don't care what you say because I would rather us all get home at the end of the day. And if you don't speak up and say something and then something happens, not only does that person's life affected or is my life affected, but like you also have to live with the regret of not saying something. So,
Mm.
yeah, I mean, like I think we can all relate to that, especially in a, you know, in a more youthful setting, more hot-headed way of being more brash and probably coming at it with a bit maybe more ego or something, but just, you know, not as tactfully as we once. I know I certainly at, you know, now almost 40 am I speak differently now than I did when I was 20. Um,
Yep.
so that emotional intelligence, but it is funny that whole controversy. Like I have the one of the Kentucky comp sweatshirts that's got the wrench on the chest. And man, do I wear that proudly. Every day,
Well,
every time I wear it, like I love it when it's like cold in my house and we record podcasts, so I can wear specifically that sweatshirt because I
love it.
just that whole era, all that whole story just gets me fired up every time. Yeah.
It's so interesting to look back on it now because it's so accepted now.
Oh, it's
I
crazy.
think for new climbers coming in, I don't think they understand the fight that actually occurred to get. I wouldn't call it fight, but the initial skepticism, fear. Uh, there was so much going on back then. We look back on it now and like, holy smokes, good lord! I mean, there are climbers now that probably don't even realize that moving rope systems exist because they
Oh
were
yeah.
brought up on stationary rope. And
Yep.
ironically, some of those people that I definitely offended back in the day have also come full circle, and they recognize that the argument we were making right from the get go was the correct argument. Uh,
Mm,
I'm not saying this as a "I told you so" type thing. It's just more of a I wish we could have gotten to that understanding quicker because
Right.
mm.
there was so much misinformation, so much I don't know, just it was a dark period there for a while that didn't need to happen. Uh, at no point ever was the suggestion that stationary rope was the only system to use, but you just couldn't make the argument to me that it was not a viable solution. So I got a little heated back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so you're saying like the whole concept of like heavily passioned tree climbers and controversy is not something new.
That's
Like
not a new thing.
this is something that goes back a ways. Yeah.
Oh, good lord!
I
That's why we love
Thought,
imagine, I imagine it might happen again in the future.
oh, history could repeat itself.
guaranteed.
It's crazy. I know.
Say less. Yeah.
I know. Uh, But I think yeah, it's super important to state that. And I've certainly learned from both of y'all and tried to emulate that in real life. Uh, I certainly think that within this podcast of using this platform to go about change in a positive way and trying to speak up and speak out in ways that hopefully get people to at least um, take in the perspective and then also look introspectively and think about what it is that they thought or what their role is and to also just encourage people to continue the conversation, not to do it negatively or emotionally and piss people off. Well, then they're completely shut out and um, then nothing takes place. Or to what I'm hearing from you, Rich, is it may have taken a lot longer to get to where you are now. And also some relationships were potentially lost and or took a long time to get back uh, because of the way things were said. And um, I value both of you, and but also value that thought of trying to do it the right way, uh, whatever that may look like. And some people might think it's the wrong way, but trying to do it in such a way that it encourages people to continue on the conversation, not to shut people out.
Yeah. Well, I definitely have regrets on how I handled it, but at the same time, it had to happen. So,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, that stopped not doing tree work. You've got the shop. Um how did rope access start to work its way into the equation?
So, when I signed on with ISC to be their North American manager, uh, I was suddenly not responsible just for the ARB industry, which was initially what I was brought in for. But suddenly I was representing all the industries. And to be honest with you, I knew nothing about the other industries because my focus had been so heavily into ARB. So when I got introduced to rope access, it immediately took back my big wall rock climbing days because my favorite style of big wall rock climbing just happened to be clean aid. And when suddenly I'm getting a certification where aid climbing is part of it, and I can do what? I can get paid to do this professionally? Huh? I look at it now and I wonder, given the choice, if I had known about rope backs before ARB, man, I don't know what direction I would have gone because
Mm.
I love rope access. Love everything about it. I'm thrilled I had my ARB career first because it gives me an appreciation of aspects of rope access that many others don't have.
Mm,
Uh, but with that said, if I had to pick a climbing style that I think I'm more suited for, it's rope access all day. I'll never be the James Earhart, Patrick style of climber where I can just make anything look. Jeff Inman style climber, Evan Beck style climber. That's not me. A good friend of ours in Ohio, his nickname is Meat and Potatoes, and that was definitely me. I was the pack mule grunt that get the damn thing, but may not look so pretty in the process. Whereas rope access really, it fit me, it hit me in the feels with everything. The
Mm.
use of rope, the use of rigging, applicationing, and the fact that you're now using 100% stationary rope, static rope climbing. Uh, my mind was ready for that after years of the rope wrench. So it was just a natural thing for me to get into, and just immediately I wanted more and more and more, and I wanted to know every one of the most ridiculous rescues you could ever possibly do, and then I wanted to learn how to do it in a harder way with less gear to make it more difficult and still do it. Uh, and that also translated into getting more involved with technical rescues. So now you're taking, actually, I view technical rescues sort of as taking the discipline of rope access and adding the uh, the variety of arb climbing and kind of mixing those two together.
Yeah.
Because technical rigging is, you need discipline for it, but you can also be really creative, like you can do on the arb side. So yeah, once I got into that, it was over. Uh, and then of course there was blending all of it, and trying to take that concept of the discipline of rope access and apply it, not apply it to the arb side in terms of the climbing maneuvers, but more so pre-planning the reducing the hazards, not exposing yourself to anything stupid, and then potentially utilizing two rope systems in trees, and that was just fluid. Again, I can't make it look as fluid as Jeff, but I find now, even though I climb fewer trees, I'm a better climber, I'm a safer climber, I'm a more efficient climber than I've ever been at any point in my career. And it's based on adding that the discipline of rope access to the climbing style of arb.
Yep. Um, yeah, I think back. Oh, what's
I'm
up?
gonna need a minute to process all that,
Okay.
because that's an amazing reflection, uh, and also just really powerful statement there. Because I feel like that's where a lot of us are at. It's trying to find balance between art and fluidity and movement, but then also safety and managing risk or mitigating risk, and um, maybe even to a certain extent, uh, like understanding what's going to happen beforehand. So all of that stuff, that's yeah, incredible statement, Rich. Sorry, Jeff.
Oh, you're good. I was gonna tell a little story to kind of give you
Perfect.
some time to process that. Um, because I mean, like one of Rich the things you do so well is relationship building. So like through you, I've met a bunch of really rad people. One of which being Jack Perry, who works for camp, and I there are few there are probably few things or few memories I will hold on to for the entirety of my life. Like, I'll always remember the first time I saw Kelsey. It's tattooed onto my brain. I'll remember catching both of our kids, like those types of experiences. The first time because, like, before you like, meeting you and climbing with you, I didn't know any like, very similar, didn't know anything about rope access, didn't know anything, other than just, like, I know a bunch of rock climbers that go climb towers because the 2 worlds kinda blend somewhat well.
Mm.
Um, but Jack Perry, the first tree he ever got in, uh,
That
I
was
was fortunate
hilarious.
enough to be in that tree. He didn't know anything about ARB, right? So, like, I know a little bit about rope access at this point. He just thinks us tree climbers are all nuts, like crazy people. I did not really help the case of tree climbers very much that day.
Nice
Um,
work.
that day will be one of those core memories that I take with me to my grave. Uh, Him standing in the main union of that big hackberry in Central Park, just losing his
Yep.
mind as I'm like king swinging, running out limbs,
Yeah.
just being like, Jack, come on, man up. It's not that big of a deal. You're an ice climber. Like, you're this like incredible ice climber. It's way sketchier than what I'm doing. Like, he's like,
He
oh,
has
you're
done
nuts. Like,
some of the most he's done some ridiculous technical ice climbing
oh,
and other things. And to see him in that state, but that's the first time he was ever exposed to it.
oh
And
yeah,
the
yeah.
idea of being on one rope and swinging around like that in a oh man, that was uh Jack is one. If there's a short list of the most important people in my life, he's definitely going to be there. He is
Yeah.
absolute gem, and what he's done with camp is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Again, he's one of those bridge builders. He's one of those guys
Mhm.
uh, that reaches out to all the industries, and we start pulling each other closer and closer and closer and closer, and come to find out we're all the same type of person. We're just in different disciplines. So
Yeah.
yeah, he has done a lot to educate a lot of people,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's
Super. But
also
yeah,
shit his
I mean,
pants in a tree.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, legend. Yeah. Absolute legend in the climbing.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
well, just a legend of a human being. But yeah, definitely when it comes to technical ice climbing, that guy is, he's a big deal. Uh, which was like, and I knew that about him before then, to then just be like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm just like, it's fine. These branches aren't going anywhere. Like, this is so much fun. This is way easier. Like, come up here. Come on. Just
It's
swing
way
out a little
easier.
bit, Jack. Yeah. Yeah. Ah, that's so funny.
Although I can say I've had similar situations in rope access. So when I was on the Skywalk project over the Grand Canyon,
Oh, yeah.
initially I was supposed to just be a grunt on the ground, or
Mhm.
on the side, running one of the GRCSs just in case we had a rescue. But one of the lead climbers that was supposed to be on that, he had been window washing his whole career, so he'd been going vertical climbing. He had done nothing horizontal, and definitely nothing like that type of aid. So I told the Ken from Epsilon previously, I'm like, hey, don't have to do this, but if there's opportunity for just aid climb out 10 feet, I'd be stoked to do it. I'm a big wall climber. I want to see these rocks from the other. And all of a sudden, I had an opportunity to be the guy going out and doing the leading and being out there for rescue with another guy. I'm like, oh hell yeah, that was that was one of the coolest projects you could ever be on.
Yeah.
But it was just you take a typical climber and they might be an absolute beast in what they do, but if you take them slightly out of that lane, it's a completely different animal. And what myself and so many other people are trying to do is bridge that gap. Let's start
Yeah.
bringing the answers so we're skilled across the whole thing. I've said to anybody outside of our that hands down the best tech in terms of just ability to make decisions on the fly with what they're staring at is an arborist, because you're in a living structure situation. uh, you've studied up everything you can do about the tree, you know the physics, you know all that stuff, but you have to make split decisions based off what's staring you in the face in a way that a lot of other industries you don't. uh, so to take that mindset and add the rope access discipline, you create something that is just so much stronger, so much safer. And that's what I've been preaching to everybody is the more we can come together, not saying use the same techniques, but just understand each other's realms a little bit more, it's going to make you a way better technician. The things that we see on wind turbines these days is a good blend of rope access and some pretty creative rigging for things that have to get done. So that's another fun one to play with.
So why is the environment for wind specifically? Why is that? What does that require in terms of creativity for those that don't know? Certainly, I'm not. I'm no expert in wind.
Uh, there's so many things I can say about wind. It's one of my favorite disciplines to operate in because it is so utterly unique from anything else you could be doing. And one of the ways in which it's unique is that the technicians, the men and women that are up on these towers, they're not rope techs. They're electricians or they're mechanics operating 350 feet off the deck in confined spaces, and firefighters aren't allowed on the tower. EMTs aren't allowed on the tower, so they are the rescue element. So we have to train them in advanced rescue techniques as well as life saving techniques for them to be able to operate. Uh, but then that's on the inside of the tower. You start going on the outside of the tower, and suddenly you're creating anchors that you're about to hang off the side of this thing 350 feet in the air, and what you're anchoring onto is fiberglass, which I don't trust for a damn thing. So you get pretty creative with how you identify anchors, utilize anchors, build systems. You have to make, you could just go straight rope access off of fixed anchors, but what is way better is building a span anchor so I can put my rope systems anywhere I want them to get to any spot on the turbine. You can get really, really creative with what has to be done. When you have to clean underneath the nacelle, so not only go off the side, but then go under and up, that's not something that a lot of people have to do.
Mm,
So you have to get pretty creative to be efficient at it,
okay. Yeah.
and more importantly, to be safe at it.
Sure.
It just
Wow.
looks so rad.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, for sure.
everything about wind, like being exposed in that way. Like, I mean, I remember being in college when I saw those pictures for the first time. Um, and was just like, holy cow, that's how, I mean, it's the equivalent of like when, people ask us, how'd you get your rope up there? Like, I'm looking at like, how in the world did you get your rope all the way to the end of that blade to then be able to let you do this over here? Like, I don't know. It's just so cool. And it's fiberglass. Like, it's nuts. Like, that's more nuts to me
Yeah.
than tying into a tree. Like, to be perfectly honest, tying
There's
into
your
fiberglass, way crazier to me than the
Well,
tree.
there's your
your
Jack
own
Perry moment.
steel anchors that are
Yeah.
mounted in the fiberglass, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
What's really interesting, Jeff, is and I love this fact. Most turbines are of a very, very similar build to giant sequoias because they're roughly 30 foot in diameter, going 300 feet. So there's so many things that actually relate between the two. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's super cool. Mm. Mm. Yeah. I'm itching to get back in some sequoias. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a trip. You know who you got to call though.
I know. I know. Yeah. Gotta call John.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but that was right. So that was an interesting time when we went and did that. Not only just being in sequoias, but that's when, like, I've told the story before in different podcasts and stuff that of how you challenged me to on the whole two rope thing. So when we were climbing those sequoias, we were in those twin tension systems, climbing in a very uh, rope access way in those trees. I mean, all of us were. I mean, not just me and you. Like the rest of the research team was all of John's guys from the Japan Institute, or yeah, all were climbing in that same way. Yeah,
Well,
Yeah, that
I
that
think
was
that's a
an
perfect
amazing
segue.
project.
Go ahead, Rich.
Oh yeah. That was an amazing project, and a lot has to be said for John on all that to get both of us access to those trees. Uh, and the people, good Lord, such good people. Had a lot of good
yeah,
fun with those climbers. With the other side of that, we went over to Japan for classes over there. That to me is actually some of the most fun you can ever have when you're in a foreign country, foreign culture, and you quickly realize the people are exact as us
Mm,
hmm,
in terms of their passion and their desire to be and to be innovative. So you find that the small stumbling block of we don't speak the language isn't that much of a stumbling block,
Mhm.
because we all speak tech and we can get our hands out and our ropes out and we can start doing things and people can understand. And that is an absolute joy to get that opportunity. Luckily, through ISC, I had an amazing opportunity to do classes all over the world. I've met amazing people in every country and have thoroughly enjoyed every minute of all of that. Uh, Lost a lot of weight, probably took years off my life, but I added on way more years than I took off. So in the end, it was a net win.
What's your,
Yeah.
if you had to, and such a cliche question to ask, but what are the few trips that um are like Jeff with Jack Perry, those moments that you'll take forever with you? Describe a couple of them if you can.
Uh, So, ironically, my favorite ones with Jack don't involve work, because his wife Tiff and their family, and especially his pup Ruckus, are I love these people more than anything. Uh, and where I'm a Basset guy, if I had to have a pit bull, I'd probably want it to be Ruckus.
Yeah.
Jack would kill me. But we had some really good fun. Because he was with camp, I was with. And we would see each other at every show. And it became pretty quick. He and I got really tight. So I'd go to set up my booth, and he'd come over to help me, and I'd go help him. And we're bringing more people in. Ironically, it's the same thing we did, just expanding out that tree crew, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Suddenly, because of the way we were interacting, a lot of these companies are realizing, well, shit, not competitors. We sell different products that do similar things. So I don't have to dog his stuff. He doesn't have to dog my stuff. We can all work together. So suddenly we've got a community of people that are not, yes, technically they are competitors, but we're all working together. The elevated safeties, Tom Wood, all those guys, PMI,
Yeah.
and it just became fun. So I've spent a lot of time with Jack at trade shows, uh, reminiscing and crazy stuff, drinking a bourbon afterwards. Uh, some good times at FDIC. His
Yes.
least favorite show and my least favorite show. Uh, I remember I was out in Colorado with Jack just visiting before he sold his house out there, and he's a bike rider. He will go mad miles on a road bike or a mountain bike, but especially a road bike. And I'm not a biker; I'm a runner. So one day I'm out there. I'm like, all right, Jack, let's go for a run. So we went for a pretty tame, I think it was a 5K on a super hot day in Colorado. I think he was about to die. I don't think he's gonna let me take him on a run again ever.
Aw.
Uh, but yeah, just anytime I'm with him, the conversations we have, um, yeah, it's just nothing but fun. And if only Ruckus had longer ears, I'd probably steal him.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
That's
yeah.
awesome. I remember my FDIC booth experience with Matt Hunt and the rest of the guys at Sterling, just
Oh yeah,
in,
love it.
inhaling what's helium balloons and chatting the whole time, just going nuts. Yeah, FDIC is
Yeah,
an
I'm talking
experience.
about I'm talking about titans in the industries, guys like Matt Hunt, Tom.
Yeah,
Uh, any time I get to interact with any of those guys,
yeah,
it's just fabulous. I got to spend a lot of time with John Yates before he passed,
cool.
and I look back at all that stuff, and you got to pinch yourself on occasion. It's like
Sure.
I can't believe I get the opportunity to meet these legends. I work for
Yeah,
Denny Morehouse for God's sake. I
yeah,
still talk to Denny. I just spoke with him last week, uh, and it's just truly amazing. Really, really fortunate to have those opportunities,
yeah.
and to get Jeff involved with that. I apologize, but you had to do it, bro. Come on.
No, yeah.
Twist his arm.
It's
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. I mean, but you hit the nail on the head there, Rich, of like you gotta stop and have those pinch me moments where
Yeah.
because it's really easy to just kind of get in the groove of life and just kind of, not take the time to step back and really, you know, even I mean, I don't go to I basically go to TCIA Expo now with Current and maybe a show or two else with Current because but it's that same thing of like because of that time uh I now also have lots of friends on the manufacturing side that I would never have had, which also has been, yeah, it's been amazing when I have specific questions with things that are, you know, about their equipment. I know that I can call people at these different manufacturers because I have this relationship with them, which is it's not a little thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's a really cool thing. Yeah, Denny, like I also like was chatting with Denny a couple weeks ago on Marketplace. And I like was telling my kids cuz we have like I've, you know, got ISC stuff and DMM stuff all over our house. So the DMM little kind of towels we have uh Lucy was like, "Oh, Dada, I like this towel." And we're, you know, she's learning her letters. She's like, DMM. And I was like, "Do you know what that stands for?" I'm like, "It's Denny
Nice.
Morehouse." Yeah. So, like, having this conversation with, I mean, she's 5. She's not going to know that. But, you know, for anyone that's listening to this that doesn't know who Denny is, like, he's the guy that is behind ISC and DMM. So, like, just take a minute and think about where we would be without either of those manufacturers existing.
Yep.
All the things we get to play with, and that dude is again one of one. Like,
Oh yeah.
gosh, he's so cool.
Yep.
Uh,
Agreed.
yeah, mm, yeah, it's neat. Yeah, but that's the whole thing. It's like people, right? That's I mean, the point of a lot of I think what we're trying to accomplish here too is like having a lot of this stuff get talked about. I mean, like you're bringing a perspective, you know, talking about historical, you know, comp stuff that I mean, I'm not trying to call you old, Rich, but like it's older than like a lot of people that listen to this podcast.
Oh, it
Of like,
makes.
I
you know,
knew it
you're
was
talking about
coming.
like '06, like
I knew it was coming.
yeah, you're not old, but it's like you know, we got like 20-year-olds that are listening to this stuff and being like, wow, that was happening. You know, I just
Isn't even born yet.
entered the chat. Yeah, entered the world, and you know, boom, controversy. Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of scary when you have a 3-digit ISA certification number.
yeah, yeah. That's terrifying. Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah,
I was gonna say it like that, Jeff, but all right.
yeah. No, but I mean, but it's also like, gosh, like look at all the, um, you know, all the lives of that you've impacted, Rich. Like, it's just we're all, you know, whether people you know, have like fully know that or not, like you have so heavily impacted the lives of so many people and in multiple disciplines. That's the other really
Mhm.
cool thing to think
Mhm.
about is it's like it's not just ARB. Like, you know, it's gone much further than that. Like it's gone into rope access. It's gone into tech rescue. It's gone into the manufacturing specific side of it.
Yeah.
Um you know, and that's just all technicians. That's not even like just people that you positively influence. So, uh,
Now, the beauty
Yeah.
of that is we're
that
coming full circle.
Yeah.
Coming full circle, this relationship we have with Davey is a terrific aspect of that. So once I got out of ISD, left ISD, and got onto the instructor side of things, that opened up a whole new set of opportunities and challenges and uh, different things. I love that. Let's just put it that way. And what I started looking at out there for, I need to talk about the place I work, ENSA, and the guy behind that, Rob Siegel. Talk about a one of one type guy. He absolutely his for safety and the opportunities he's given me to, and the trust he's put in me to uh, now go after the goals that I have on the educational side is amazing. He is unbelievable gentleman. I've got nothing but mad respect for him. Uh, uh, but we operate that's with all the industries that have entry level certificate, and therefore they end up being, you could say, safer industries. The safety record in rope access is unbelievable. Safety record in wind is actually really good considering the amount of man hours and women hours that are being put in onto these towers. So to have that type of sort of training and then look back at the ARB side of things, where my true is realizing we don't have any of that. And Jeff, we talked about this since probably since the day I met you,
Hmm.
would be my guess. And not every company is like a Davy uh, or a Bartlett or a Save a Tree. The larger companies do, they have a lot of internal training opportunities, but they've got the footprint for it. They're able to do it. They've got the resources to do that, and they heavily invest in their people, which is amazing. And I've got huge respect for all of them. Uh, but what we're still missing is that entry level certificate training for technicians. We've got certified arborist, which is a respectable certification because there's such variety as to what you can do within ARB. That's a pretty broad based certification. As we all know, you don't have to climb a tree for that. You've got one section of 10. Well, unless it's changed. So I am kind of old. Uh, so it's been a long standing passion of mine, desire of mine to get the entry level certificate training aimed at arborist technicians to get accepted in the industry. Problem with that obviously is that homeowners are the end user, and homeowners have no desire to demand this type of certification. Whereas if I own a wind turbine, I'm not letting any Joe pickup truck wind tech on my wind turbine. They got to show me a cert, or they're not going anywhere near it. So that's been the problem: is how do we do that for ARB, where every other industry already has it in play? Uh, So the whole Davy thing, actually, I just learned more about that story that I didn't know. And if you don't mind me taking a little trip here, uh,
Go ahead.
I it's relevant for sure. I didn't know the story as to how Tim Bushnell ended Davy, uh, and it is a really cool story, and especially based off the fact that North Americans were just held at the Seed campus, this unbelievable resource that Davy just built for education. Apparently, Davy leadership at the time was saying, "Man, we sponsor a lot of tree climbing competitions. We spend a lot of resources on this. We send a lot of people, but we don't have. If you look at the scale, very few Davy climbers are actually competing in these competitions, these elite level competitions." So the leadership at Davy very specifically set about with a plan to fix that. So they did the smartest thing they ever could have done and got a hold of Tim Bushnell. And I don't know what sort of deal they made to get him in there, but it was a really smart decision on Davy's part. And I didn't realize that's why Tim was brought in. And but seeing the results of what happened with Tim being brought in, he has completely changed culture in terms of education for technicians and what can be done to make it better. So yeah, it was just really unique when he pointed out that we know we're building the structure, but problem is, are we actually going to utilize the structure full time? It's a big thing, put a lot of money into it. So he reached out to me because he knew of my involvement in industries, and he was asking me if there's a way we could do this to where we could actually utilize the structure for more than one thing. So we could do ARB on it, but maybe we could do other stuff as well. And it's just I love the story because that was one of the relationships that was heavily damaged hothead days with the advent of the rope wrench. And I'm just so unbelievably thrilled that we've been able to fix that, and not only fix it, but we worked on together, and the trust we have in each other to continue with this. I'm just thrilled about every last aspect of all of it. Uh, but when he asked me that question, I basically told him, "Well, I hope you're sitting down because you're not going to like my answer." Because the first answer, of course, was not to use wood, but to use metal.
Yeah.
And the second one was even bigger. If you want our involvement, it can't just be for Davy. You're making the initial investment. Of course, it's going to be Davy centric at first, but it needs to be an industry thing, not just a Davy thing. So we got his agreement and also Davy leadership agreement that eventually that center, the seed campus, will be open to the Bartletts, to the trees, to the aspens, to the independent trees, to the limb walkers, to everybody. And to me, that was the biggest thing that had to happen.
Yeah.
On top of that, because we use metal, we can also run rope access in there tomorrow, and I'm dying to do it. And we got to make that happen. You guys got to stop doing
Don't
this
tempt
tree
me with a
climbing
good
stuff.
time, sir.
Dying to run rope access in there. I'm dying to run technical rescue in there.
Yeah.
There's already talk of us potentially putting a wind simulator in there, but I might have another option on that, by the way. So it'll be a multi. It's everything that we've talked about tonight tied up in one. It'll be a multi-use facility. Technicians from a whole bunch of different spots: firefighters, rope access, arborists, tower climbers. Stir it all up and see what happens. And it won't just be with Davey, it'll be with everybody. So it's for me, it's the culmination of a lifetime dedicated to see it actually exist. I can't even begin to describe how excited I am about the future. Not just that partnership, but the opportunities that'll come from it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I,
That's super cool.
yeah. Thank you. I feel compelled to at least say something because I think it's on the heels of North Americans and being at Davy. Um, we spent a lot of time talking about the company, and I certainly appreciate it. Obviously, because I work there, but I think to me, it's equally as important to just say that it is for us this circle of three people, and then outwardly going out into the ether. It's so much more important about the people that are building these relationships, the connections to the companies and whoever you work for. While great, it doesn't happen without the people that are involved in those things. And I certainly am grateful for the relationships that I've built, either with the company or outside of it. But this is not an advertisement for one company or the other. It's much more about the relationships built within it and the influences that we have all had and the ripple effects that are taking place because of those things. Certainly paying homage to you and the work that you've done and all of that, and all of the relationships that you have and all the people that you've just spoke about of getting us to where we are. Man, it's an incredibly exciting time, and really happy to be a part of it. I wanted to go back to um, when we kind of delved into it a little bit, but I do want to take some time and talk about that because we've had some controversy here recently, and you've certainly experienced some controversy. But I want to get your take on where we're at in the current state of climbing competitions. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Rich.
Oh,
No,
gonna
not
bring
a
the
one.
heater out.
Not a
Oh,
one. He
I'm
doesn't have a single thought. Yeah.
yeah. No, I'm in it. Let's go.
Well, I have to start that one with I'm so fortunate to have had the ability to be involved in the tree climbing competition realm for such a long time.
Yeah,
Heavily influenced by so many people, the Ken Palmers, Rip Tompkins, the Scott Prophets, the Bruce Smiths, the people that have worked so hard, the Phil Kellys, the Ed Carpenters. I could go on
yeah,
forever. House attained, good Lord. I mean, it's just endless,
Yep.
endless the number of people that we get exposed to with all that. And I'm a competitive person and I love climbing. So the two just made for each other. Uh, and that's on the ISA side, the geezer side of it. Hell, we can spend a lot of time talking that one too.
Yeah.
But just to meet and to know the international community, the Joe Hedgers, the John Hedgers, the Tony Darbyshires, the good Lord, Scotty Forrest, all those guys, all the Germans, it's endless. I could spend the rest of the week just trying to come up with names, and you'd still never hit them all.
Yep.
So I'm thrilled to have been part of it, heavily involved with it as a competitor, as someone who ran competitions, who worked on them, volunteered, and I love them. So I'm going to preface it with saying that I love them. Uh, what I started liking less about them was this is more based off of my experience with rope access. Because once I learned that there is I can control climbing in a tree to where I don't have to swing all over the place like a madman. Like it actually precisely position myself any place I want to be on redundant systems. Once that discipline got into my body, the concept of speed was eliminated. When I'm training, instructing rescue, it's one of the first things I tell them is that speed has never once in the whole history of time ever made anybody safer. And I take that to heart. And because maybe I do have a little bit of a platform on occasion, that's something I preach every day. Because the sooner they can understand that, they're going to make themselves a better technician in terms of safety. So I understand the reasoning behind the board speed. The open ascent event is fantastic to watch, but I can't watch it because I just had this conversation with Mr. Deal today.
Mhm.
Uh, he was talking about the backup systems that were being used in a particular device. That one of them was screaming down 100 miles an hour and engaged the device. This, that particular piece of equipment should have engaged before it actually did. It was screaming down like that. He goes, "Yeah, we like that thing because it trails on the wood. It's really loose. It moves fluidly." And I said, "The problem with that is that it exposes you to a higher fall factor."
Mhm.
Well, if I had answered like that back in the day when I was a competitive climber, would have looked at myself sideways, let alone anybody else. But but that's where my mindset is now. I I I, I keep all that in my mind, top of mind. Fall factors are important to me. I don't want to ever be exposed to. I don't even want to come close to a fall factor one. Why would I? If I could be on two systems that are static and there's no chance of I'll be in fall factor negative. That's where I like to live. So I really struggle with the open ascent. Uh, a lot of equipment being used together that I think people understand as well as they think they understand it. And I'm not saying that they're not compatible. I'm just saying that the way they're being applied without full knowledge on it scares me. Uh, the aerial rescue, Evan, you and I spoke about this one. Um, I mean, you have climbers now that are memorizing a script. They're working to the rule book. They're going for points, and all of that would be completely utterly useless in an actual rescue situation. Because if you had planned better, you wouldn't have had that rescue situation. And even if you did have it, you could have gotten to the ground without climbing. To me, that is infinitely more important than scoring some points and getting a little trophy. Now, again, this comes from experience. If I was 20 years old, guess what I would be doing? I'd be screaming up trees and I'd be loving competitions. It's just I I feel like I can't support that mindset while also spending and dedicating my life to instructing safety. The two don't work together. Now, the other thing I want to point out is there's the value of the competitions goes way beyond just personal, uh, that I feel great that I won. There's a huge influence that the competitions have on
Yep.
lots of other, and I don't want to downplay that. So I guess the long and short of it is I don't want to sit here and dog competitions. They're useful. At the same time, the focus on speed is not something I can get with. So uh, I have done technical rescue competitions, which are a completely different animal, which is definitely more to my speed these days. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to go back to art climbing competitions. There's a strong thought in my mind that a fifth geezer win wouldn't be a bad thing to have.
Actually, I'm gonna be so
Uh,
just sad if you're not at Geezers this year. I'm sad every year
Problem
you're not there.
is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we have to do to make that happen again?
it's it's the time of the year for me because we have so much going on. If I block it off today, potentially I could make that happen. I just have to do it. I have to take the time to do it. Uh, and after this year, after reconnecting with Joe at North Americans,
Yeah.
yeah, I still have that itch. I love to compete. Um, I will climb way differently than many have seen me climb in the past.
Sure.
But that's not a bad thing. So
No.
it's still not the could be a learning opportunity maybe. So
Yeah.
keep on doing it.
All
The
right.
reason I don't
Well.
compete international anymore is because I can't. Jesus Christ, these are too good. Actually, Jeff, if you remember that 2016 in Cherokee Park, that master climb damn near killed me.
Hmm.
I might have put a good face on it, but holy smokes.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the even it was cool that I mean not cool that it took so long for the episode with Pritchard to come out, but it was cool to listen to it several months after and compare a lot of what we were talking about then to, you know, now with North American. But even like what Jimmy said of like how Masters challenges used to be set up is very different now than how we tend to set it up. I mean, to include like just general training for it as well. Uh like we're gonna record with Earhart tomorrow and but he
Love
and
it.
I are gonna link up and climb before we hop on the mics with Evan. And I was thinking about that same thing of like, well, yeah, the trees I'm gonna take him to are way harder than what I used to even set up in Louisville. I mean, like,
Mhm.
uh, it's because it's just how the game has has
Evolved.
progressed.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's funny even with geezers, what we set up for the Masters. James was like, "No, bring them in, bring the bells in." Like,
Yep.
like, oh, okay, all right,
That was
bring them in,
such a
bring them
fun
in.
tree to set up too.
Yeah,
But
it was so cool.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but I also think about I guess the last time you were at Geezers was that last year. It was in Windermere when we did that training
Mm,
together there.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and even the way you went about the rescue that year was, you know, different because it's far more in the Sprat style than, you know, that kind of thing. Um, So yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how you go about it this year, since you're signing up tonight and blocking that off in your calendar to make sure you're going to
That's
be
it.
there.
Uh,
Uh,
So let me make a note of that.
yeah. Um, no, but I mean, but it's yeah, you know, the whole concept of in this train of thought. Like I remember you teaching me like pickoffs and clipping into the spine side of a carabiner and how you can evac that, like, and leave somebody suspended and all that kind of stuff. And I remember being like, but we're chain linking carabiners. And you're like, no, we're not. Shut up, Jeff. We're not doing that. That's not chain linking carabiners.
It's not
But it's
quite
that
how I
same kind of
explained it, but
yeah. No, I mean, this is how I remember it. Of like, you're an idiot. That's not what we're doing.
In the
But
nicest of ways.
yeah. But it's that same thing of like it. I remember when we showed that at that geezers, everyone like had that same freak out moment. So a lot of these, to your point, a lot of these conversations and a lot of these trainings, like it does, like with the Davy Seed Campus and bringing in different disciplines to all kind of work with one another to kind of help spread that different knowledge allows for that very thing of like, yeah, there's a it's not chain linking carabiners. It's a pretty sweet way to go about doing pickoff rescues. It feels like magic.
well,
Like,
I can tell you the next one, and you're already aware of this because I've been talking about this one for a while as well. The use of full body harnesses
mhm,
is another one. Again, it came due to my exposure to rope access and C359 compliance in other disciplines. The rated sternal connector is so freaking useful in ARB. I can't. It's why wouldn't you want one? And I know the argument. Oh, the harness is too heavy. Oh, well, it's the same argument we had about chainsaw pants. And at North American, I saw a whole bunch of people climbing with chainsaw pants and weren't bitching about it. And Evan and I, with our involvement at the Davy Seed Campus, that's coming. I mean, if I'm working in an elevated platform, I need a full body harness. Well, if I need to climb into the trim platform, I need a full body harness.
Yeah.
So that's the next one where they're probably going to refer to me as the hater again.
yeah,
Uh, but eventually, and Jeff, I know you've experienced this actually
mhm,
because of your experiences and Evan as well. Yes, you're going to climb differently with the full body harness, and there are going to be some limitations, but the positives it gives you are outrageous. Talking about aerial rescue, if I'm going to be doing a pickoff and I can get my victim in a more comfortable position because they've got a rated sternal anchor, why wouldn't I do that?
mhm,
So that'll be the next one where they tell me to my other industries and leave ARB alone.
yeah, yeah,
Well, if you need an advocate in that arena, I'm happy. And I'd also like to push to get a better full body harness that has a bridge and a dorsal attachment. If we could work on that as well, that would be super cool.
Well, and again, this is where the ARB techs really do push the manufacturers because you now can find harnesses that have that. And pretty shortly, you're going to find more because once people, I mean, think about chainsaw pants again.
Yep.
Before, there were very few options. And then when technicians started demanding it and were using it, suddenly a lot more opportunity was out there.
Mhm.
So you'll see the same thing. I think harnesses in general are going to change pretty significantly for ARB over the next 10 years.
Yeah.
oh
That's
yeah.
great.
I mean, look at how chainsaw pants were, you know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago,
Oh
20
yeah.
years ago, right? How
Mm.
drastically differently, uh, they all fit, how they breathe. Like it was, there's been this race to make them the lightest, coolest, but still maintain that high level of protection.
Protection.
This is no different. Like
Yep.
if that's the direction it winds up going, then yeah, it will. It's, I mean, what, and even with harnesses, like even in just like ARB style harnesses, you know, for the longest time, it was just the tree motion that had the wide open lower D rings,
Mm.
for suspension for the lanyard. And
Sure.
now you can't like manufacturers kind of can't produce a harness that doesn't have lower Ds that are forward facing that
Yep.
are more ergonomic in that way. The
Hmm.
harnesses, well, I say the harnesses are lighter. Some of them are lighter, like with the DMM line, like the max is super heavy, but the air is super light. So
Yeah.
yeah, it is interesting. It's a good point of how we actually do. It feels like it's slow changing, but again, when you kind of zoom out and really take it all in, there's a lot of change that can happen and does happen in a very short amount of time.
And it's not just going one direction. It's not just ARB taking in things from other disciplines.
Mhm.
ARB is given back just as much as it's taken. It used to be finding a rope access technician that would use a foot ascender. y- They didn't know what it was, and why would they need it? Because 9 times out of 10 they don't need it. But where they do need it, it is really freaking useful, and they're getting hip to that. And the creativity of the arborist mind in modifying equipment has definitely been introduced into rope access as well. Uh, oh, actually, another big one are the boots where you can hook your knee ascender right to the boot,
Mhm.
because what that does for aid climbing for a rope access tech is now I can just take my lanyard straight to my boots and hook them in. I don't need a little foot loop anymore. Ah, it's fabulous. So
Yeah.
the innovation is going both directions.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
cool to
do.
see like on the grimp competitions and stuff like that when they're
Yeah.
doing like ascent stuff that it's not just like a frog style anymore, that there are like people with foot and knee ascenders. Like that's been a neat thing to kind of just like peer into that world and see like, oh, we're we've made some waves here. Like it's not just chest ascender, hand ascender, like, you know, going up that way. It's like, no, folks are like they're ripping after it on some foot and knee ascenders. So
Now, the problem there is you got the haters like me saying, "Huh, all this move towards speed isn't making us safer."
no, I know. I
So
know. Well,
I would have the same argument
I
against
know. I
rope
know.
access
Well,
comps.
all right, fine. Let's just call it efficiency.
There we go.
It's less wasted
Yeah.
movement. It's not fast. It's not speeding.
Yeah. See, but I'm on the other side of that coin of like, no, 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 speed, fast. Like I like going fast. I really like going fast. Like, yeah. Uh, yeah. Um,
Uh,
no, I mean there's definitely some good points there. I definitely learned a lot from my endeavor in two rope climbing, and it's not something that like I've continued on a day-to-day basis, other than the fact that like what has been interesting, and we talked about this in the North American debrief as well, is how devices like the twin line or variations of the same kind of or the same theme of having multiple ropes in the tree and utilizing more of that style climbing to add a lot of a lot of these concepts of having. I know I said it in the podcast of like there's lots of opportunity for good movement and making big moves and stuff like that, because at the to the core of me, that will always be the thing that I love about tree climbing is making big descending swings and giant moves and stuff like that. So, but what it's opened up, and stationary rope as a whole has opened up the ability to have multiple lines to allow for that very thing of just more overhead suspension, more or better work positioning, carrying better rope angles and the like, having less slack. You know, even though I still think we need the same page about what that looks like, but having less slack uh in the system because of that. So I think it's kind of it's happening uh maybe not the way Rich Hattier wants to see it. But concepts of it are definitely seeping their way in. Like when you see 5 twin lines deployed at the North American, you look at ITCC in New Zealand, it was probably over half of the competitors there deployed a twin line.
Mhm.
So
or some variation of two
yeah.
rope systems.
Hmm.
But I think the key thing to add to that, though, is there's no one right answer for any situation.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's all about the options you have and employing good options for and making good decisions. So I'm definitely not a person saying every tree should be climbed with two ropes, because they
Mhm.
shouldn't. Uh, but the more I know, the more I
Mm,
understand my options, I can make really good decisions in spots where maybe previously I hadn't. Like I said,
yeah.
I'm a better, more efficient, safer climber now on trees than I've ever been at any point in my career, and I climb very few trees right now.
Mhm.
It's just based off thinking more about it, understanding what I'm actually doing, and just climbing smarter.
Yeah. Well,
And
if that's also one. Yeah. Sorry. Go
using
ahead.
the tool. No, it's okay. Using the tool to match the situation or the scenario that you're in, and also having access to a much larger toolbox to pull from. Like those are all fantastic things that we've had in a relatively short amount of time in this industry.
Well, and that's like, I mean, I still do it. Now. I'm not going to do it because the mic is going to hate it. But the whole options, right? Like the thing that I took away from Rich early on doing trainings is like that's like his favorite word is
Yeah.
options, right? And there's a whole hand motion. It's a very
Hmm.
loud clap. Options, baby. We got
Oh yeah. Yeah.
options,
Yeah.
right? I hear that
It's his
even like what
calling
you're
card.
talking of. Oh yeah, I hear that in what you're talking about with the seed campus of like
Mm.
part of that agreement was options,
Yeah.
right? There's options for not just ARB,
Yeah.
but rope access, tech rescue, wind, right?
Yeah.
But it's not just stuck there. It's also options in combining everybody at the same time,
Mhm.
right? It's
And bringing
options
people
in
from outside the company too, not just
correct,
outside the industry, but outside the
correct,
company. Yeah.
right? That's Hattier like captured in a word is options. Like
Yeah.
of constantly just looking for ways to like connect people, connect ways of thinking, like expand that way of thinking, expand that toolbox.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, to just think about, like, actually think about what we're doing instead of just running in, guns a
Mash.
blazing. Like, have some intention behind it, but then being able to pivot as needed because you got options.
Gotta have options.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And then when we were in Japan, that was like they were all doing it too. Like everyone in the
Nice.
class would just be like
Heck yeah.
options. Yeah.
So good.
It was so much fun.
Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. I still miss the sushi.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
need to go back.
Eel is
Okay.
just not the
I'll
same
go.
anywhere
It's fine.
else.
I'll go
Yeah. Yeah.
if I have to. It's
Yeah.
for the it's for the
You'll take
pod.
one for the team.
I'll do it. So
It is the plan for our 20th anniversary is to go to Japan. So
Right on.
7 more years. Hopefully we go hopefully we get there before then, but that is definitely in the plan for number 20. So
that's bad.
Well, that's on that subject. Something that also needs to be mentioned, and I sort of mentioned it earlier. August 11th, Tony and I celebrate 30, and
dude,
Man.
none of none of anything I've done in my entire career would have been possible without her.
Mm.
Uh, we were joking about the 30 because she's like, well, if we count how many years you've actually been gone, like, hold up, let's.
ah,
Pump the brakes here, Tony.
Yeah,
yeah.
but it's. I mean, I've been like this since the day I met her, and with good communication, we were able to manage it.
Mm.
Uh, Her involvement with that height was phenomenal. And then her no longer being involved is equally as phenomenal.
Mhm.
So, yeah, none of it would have been possible without her, without a doubt.
Yeah.
We
Tony's awesome.
three
God,
well, we
Tony's awesome.
three are incredibly fortunate. We
Mhm.
all have that. We all share that commonality.
Yeah. 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 30 years, dude. That's awesome. Congrats. That's super cool. Man,
Cheers,
that's
man.
coming. Are y'all going anywhere? Like, are you doing? I hope you're doing something cool.
Yep. We're heading out to my father has a house in Napa that he's not going to be there that week. So we're going to stay in his house in Napa. We're going to go see some big trees. We're going to go throw some discs at smaller trees. And we're going to eat some amazing food. And
Heck yeah.
I hear there's some reasonable wine out there. So we
Yeah,
might have a sip or two of that.
yeah.
Uh, yeah,
I'll
just
bet you can find
really,
some good bourbon.
I'm sure we'll be bringing that.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Without a
yeah,
doubt.
really, we're just going to just be together and we're not even planning really anything. We'll go do what we do and we'll love it. So we can't wait.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, of course, you're bringing bourbon. Oh, which is the other like fun, just like neat, just thing about who y'all are in terms of hosting and just opening up your home to folks. And it was yeah, I mean, we didn't drink at the time when we lived there, and we still don't really drink much now, but it you got my brother so drunk um drinking bourbon at the house, like uh
Yeah, that's Zach.
yeah.
One of the things I'm most proud of is I'm responsible for 3 of Drew Bristow's worst hangovers.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. um yeah. Yeah, I mean, just for the listener, inside Rich's house is a wall of bourbon and tequila, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So connoisseurs of very very nice
Spirits.
uh, spirits. Yes.
Yeah.
Ironically, we still sip on the bourbon, but with the quality change in non-alcoholic beer, I drink a lot of non-alcoholic Kolsch's, and I'm a super happy man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. The it is amazing how well, I mean, technology naturally is going to improve anything you throw it at. But we haven't really gotten into the NA stuff because it's as a whole just try to keep water and coffee basically is what this time of year electrolytes. But
Yeah, man.
um, yeah, but that's a good point. I mean, like a lot of the folks that I work with um, have gotten really into the NA beers. So
Yeah, pretty good. It's impressive.
yeah, it's no longer the what was that
O'Doul's.
O'Doul's?
Rolling
Yeah,
Rock.
yeah,
Oh god, terrible.
O'Doul's. Remember being like 15 thinking I was so cool, just sipping on an O'Doul's.
Yeah.
Rebel without a cause. Yeah.
Oh, that's classic.
Oh, it is classic. Um, yeah. It's also I did not know Tim was one of those people. Like that's one of the things I've learned tonight. I was unaware that Tim was one of the people uh that you rubbed
Yeah,
the wrong way.
he was the head tech of ITCC at the time, I believe.
Mm,
So yeah, my wrath, I, I hit them all.
Hit
Uh,
'em all.
and again, the worst part of all that was losing those relationships.
Right.
But was able to fix some of those. Not all of them.
yeah.
I wish. Still working on it. I'd like to fix all of those issues.
Yeah.
Given time. Uh, so
Yeah.
Feels
Well,
like a
that's awesome. Yeah.
Feels like a good way to kind of wrap in like all this, at least the current events of where we're at, and certainly something that I'm I want to take home and continue to work on is, man, this community is such for one, it's an incredibly tight knit community. And you get to this level and everybody knows everybody, and we're all in it, I think, for the right reasons, in that we're incredibly passionate about what we do. And we're also, it's the people that make this community what it is. And while at times we may not agree on everything, uh, we have to get back to the reasons why we're in it in the first place. And that's to continue to share experience and build bonds with these folks. And we should do our best um, to have grievance and to continue to speak up and speak out when those things don't feel right or sound right or aren't right. But also do it in a way that it doesn't tear down, but hopefully builds each other up in the long run. And I want to continue to do that. I want to do, to build on the legacy that you've created, and so many other people that have that got us to this point. And I think we would do ourselves a disservice, and also what you have all worked at to get to this point. And want to continue to work to make it better, and uh, continue to build on it. So, man, I appreciate all of the things that you're talking about, all the friendships. Uh, yeah, it's a pinch me moment for sure to be in this spot, sitting here talking to you, both of you. But uh, yeah, awesome.
Yep. If I played a tiny part in making it a little bit better, I'm super stoked for that. But it wouldn't have happened without the ridiculous amount of work that loads of people put in way before me,
For sure.
and well after me. And by the way, we're just getting started. We got a long way to go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty in it too, of each generation is responsible for carrying, like picking up the baton and carrying the baton forward and handing it off to the next generation, right? How much it's evolved. I mean, ITCC, we're about to celebrate 50th anniversary of
That's crazy.
ITCC. So very, very on the nose there of like how it started versus how it is now. Almost couldn't be more different other than the fact that we're still in trees. We're still using ropes. Now, we weren't always tied into those ropes, 50 years ago.
I got a
Whereas
relationship
now,
with it.
yeah. Whereas now we spent probably half an hour talking about connecting one little rope between two people. Um, and and the controversy that was, which I think is a helpful reminder of like it's exactly what you said, Rich. Like everyone that put in so much of their blood, sweat, and tears, passion, devotion, hard work to just keep elevating it to get it to now. And now, even to what you're saying, Evan, of like, we all have a responsibility and a part to play in that to take it like to the next level,
Yeah,
to put our, I guess, flavor onto it as a collective group, knowing that we should be working alongside of everyone that's come before to set everyone up after for as much success because of how impactful it is, you know, personally together as a group, but then how it sets up the industry to continue to evolve, how the game continues to evolve, and not get so wigged out about the fact that it's a game. At the end of the day, it's a game. That's the conversation I was having with Cedar right before uh, we
golf
hopped on
practice.
the podcast after
Oh,
golf practice being so rough. Of like, dude, you can't like I beat him, right? Like after golf practice, we went and played one on one, me versus him, and I beat him. and he's just like crying, all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, like, you got to do this not because you want to win. You got to do this for the love of the game, right? Because otherwise, it's miserable. Like,
Yeah.
miserable to spend all this time out here just being consumed by that piece of it. This is no different. Like, we all do this because we love it, right? There'd be way easier ways. Well, maybe not easier. I've said that from time to time. Of like, there are easier ways to make money.
There's
This
a
is
lot of
the
other
easiest.
ways to make money.
Yeah, this is the easiest way I know how to make money. Like being, private equity, investor. I don't know that world. So that's really
Nope.
easy for some people to make lots of money, but that's not me. But there are other ways to do it. It's just this is the way we do it.
I don't know. I look back on that, Jeff, on that exact thought, and from the moment I got into trees, I don't think I've worked a day in my life. It has
Mm.
been, I mean,
Yeah.
of course, you've been in the most miserable situations on the hottest days, dealing with pine trees or subalpine firs in Utah. But even that, come on, you can't beat it. And
Yeah.
the fact that we're in the positions we are now, uh, in this industry gave that to us.
Yeah.
But we've had to give back to it to get to this point. So yeah, it'll just continue. It'll get better.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Also had to work our asses off to get here, but that's part of it.
Big work though. It's fun though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say it all the time. Like, I'm not that much different than my children. Like, I just never really grew up. Like, I'm forced to deal with the realities of being an adult with taxes and mortgages and all that nonsense. But like functionally,
Yeah.
like I just climb trees. Like,
Yeah,
and
man.
I play with really loud toys that are sharp. And I just essentially get to go, hey y'all, watch this
Yeah.
for a living. Like,
Yeah.
like,
It's true.
like, it's not a bad gig. Not a
No.
bad gig.
Nope.
Well
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. Rich, you got to dangle underneath a see-through walkway over top of the Grand Canyon. Like,
Yeah.
as a little boy, would we not all look at that and be like, I want to be under this thing?
Yep.
Like, I want to know what that feels like. Like,
It-
yeah.
It's funny there, my older brother who got me into climbing place. First of all, he got me into rock climbing, and I worked for Denny Morehouse. It's like, you son of a.
Yeah.
Why didn't I get to work with Denny Morehouse?
Right.
How do you get
Right.
to do all this stuff?
Right.
Some of the earliest big wall gear that I had was from Yates. And I called my brother one day while I'm at John Yates's house in Redding, California. He's like, "What are you doing? How are you hanging out with John Yates?" Like, hey man. Yeah, it's been terrific. I love it.
Yeah.
If I could do it all over again, I'd be a little more tactful in that one situation. But other than that, I wouldn't change a damn thing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Also been
Maybe
challenge.
I'd given rope access a little bit earlier. I take that back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
I guess let's put a bow on it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Rich.
Yeah.
Cheers, gents. So good catching up with both.
For sure.
Love what you're doing with the podcast. I'm going to see you all the time, so I'm not going to say goodbye because I'm going to get to see you
Nah.
soon anyway.
Sushi
That's
and
the best
bourbon.
part about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. No doubt. Heck yeah. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. And thanks, Rich. Always a pleasure. See you again soon.
Well, much love to you both and your families.
Same.
Same.
Tony sends a
Give
love
Tony a
to you.
big hug. Yeah.
And the hounds that are actually sleeping. I can't believe it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of blown away. We didn't hear a single, which is sad. Like, if I'm being honest, like I could have done with hearing some howling. Yeah.
So these
Yeah.
videos.
Yep.
Yeah.
All
All right, fellas. Cheers. Have a great night.
Yeah.
And
Cheers.
yeah. Thanks as always.
Cheers, man. All the best.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Hattier for joining us on the podcast. It's I hope it shone through with that conversation. Just how awesome Rich is, the perspective he brings, uh, just his outlook on life. It's just something I feel like we could all learn from. It personally has affected me in a massive way, and I'm forever indebted to Rich for how he's not only helped me in my career, and I know how I feel like I speak well for Evan in this way, also um, in a professional setting, but I know in a personal setting, he's a dear friend that has uh, greatly impacted my life and how I interact with people. You know, the just yeah, different conversations we've had over the years, and he's just an awesome guy who's done really awesome stuff that has, whether you realize it or not, has likely positively impacted your life as a tree climber. And certainly as a rope access technician, I don't think there's many of y'all that listen to a tree climbing uh, competition podcast, but certainly those of us in the comp world, there's you know the whole concept of having difficult conversations is not new, and I personally take a lot of comfort and pride in that we all are passionate enough to speak up and speak, uh, with our hearts around these different things, but like Rich said, in let's do it, let's do it, with grace and understanding towards one another, that and be tactful about it. Let's be productive in those conversations. So again, thank you, Rich, for joining us. Thank you, Evan, and thank you all for listening. Um, Again, if you enjoyed that, please share it with other people that you think would be impacted by it, and take it to heart, and just enjoy it. So please like, share, subscribe, the whole thing. Please, leave us reviews wherever you're listening to the podcast. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Spreaker, all the places where you can get it. There we are. So we're trying to keep this thing rolling out, and yeah, just thank you so much for listening. Um, I know there's lots of other things you could be listening to, other content, and that's not lost on us, especially on the heels of the podcast episodes that we've released here more lately. I've had a lot of really great phone conversations and messages back and forth on the socials. So just thank you very much for agreeing, disagreeing, all of it. Like there's conversation that's happening, and we're grateful to be a part of it. So with that, get out there, train hard, push your limits. Um, you know, if you're into speed or not, uh, not the substance, but you know, ultimately that's what we should all be doing, is waking up every day just trying to be 1% at least better today than we were yesterday. And yeah, hopefully find some motivation from this, and we'll see you around. Get out there, ring some bells. All right. Cheers.